Hello everyone, it's Shanna. I'm so glad you're here today. Now today we're working with scrapbooks.com's mosaic cover panel die, and we're going to be doing some dry embossing. So I've got my panel, my die cover panel, attached to some blue cardstock, and I'm just bringing in my Spellbinders platform, and I'm going to follow the instructions for dry embossing. So I've got to have my white plate, and I've got to lay my die upside down on that plate. So that's why I taped my paper on there. And then I use the tan rubber mat, and then I bring in the blue embossing plate, and that's what I'm going to use for dry embossing this mosaic tile cover plate. So I'm just pulling in my Spellbinders machine, and I'm just going to run it straight through as the instructions indicate. Just move that out of the way, and then we're going to take a peek at it. I think this might be the first time I've ever dry embossed, so just get the tape off of there so we can take a peek at it and see how it turned out. And I was excited that it turned out very well for the first time doing it. So it just basically makes the good indentation from the die in there, but it does not cut the paper. And I did this specifically because I'm going to inlay a silver panel, which I have some sticker backing on it. I'm going to run it through my die cutting machine, and then I'm going to inlay all of those little silver pieces in on this blue panel. And I just brought my plate from my Spellbinders in because I was afraid some of the pieces might fall out, but because I used that sticky stuff, they all stayed in, and you'll notice it shifted, and so I didn't get a full cutting on it, but we'll compensate for that later in the video. So now I'm just going to start popping out these individual pieces and getting them laid down on my panel. So I got most of it. I just didn't get the bottom of it die cut out, and that's what I mean. It shifted, my paper shifted on there. But we're going to trim these panels down, so it's not going to matter. So I'm just pulling them off individually and laying them in the spot where they were on the panel. And so this will take a minute, and I will kind of rush through this. I'll just fast forward through it because it just takes a little bit of time. And there I'm at the bottom, and I'm adding the last couple ones to the panel and just finishing it up. And here I'm going to point out to you where I didn't, and where it shifted and it didn't cut right. So I take it, I cut that panel down, and then I also have the remainder of that panel that I cut down as well. So I've got my extra piece there, and I can't think of what you call that, but it's the throwaway part that you would normally throw away. And I'm just going to lay it down on some black brushed cardstock from Spellbinders. And that brushed black cardstock from Spellbinders has a little hint of silver to it, and I thought that it would go nicely with this. So I just moved that out of the way, and I'm going to work on this card here first. And because of the way it shifted on me and I had to cut it around, die cut it down, I decided to add a frame on this. So I'm just going to use the same colored paper, and I've just used my A2 matting basic dies from Spellbinders to cut out a frame, and I'm just going to get this panel laid down on the frame just so that it will cover my whole panel, my whole card panel. So I'm using the two-sided adhesive tearaway tape, and I'm just going to get it laid down on there, try to line it up. It's just barely big enough for this, and so I'm going to have to be really exact. I set my little stamp pressing tool on there just to kind of hold it steady so it wouldn't move on me as I get started laying it down. And I'm trying to just hit that very edge of it, just so that it will cover the whole thing and get it laid down. And so I got that laid down there, and I realized that there's just a fragment of a gap at the bottom, so I'm going to take a little strip just to help kind of glue it down so that it won't you won't be able to peek through and see it, so it makes it look full. So I've got that, and I'm going to just lay it down on my card base, and I've just got a 100-pound cardstock hammer mill, And I'm just going to get it glued down on there with my Barely Art glue. This is another one of those things that I haven't used in a while, that I'm trying to go back into my stash, get stuff out that I have not used, and use them. So that's what I'm doing with this. And I had used it before, but I had not done this inlay technique, and I've seen it done on videos, and I thought I'm going to do it. And I just like the silver and the black for the colors. Now this die set here is one of those things that I got in my little Elfster giveaway gift, and I'm going to, I die cut 2 of these out. This is a very, very intricate die. And so I'm just going to smush some glue down here on a piece of scrap paper and just kind of wiggle my sentiment through there, because it's just so fine, and I thought I could just kind of brush it across there and get some glue on there to stick them together. Now this one had a little tear on it, and I'm repairing it. My little R, it was connected, but it had a little piece lifting up, so I stuck a little glue on that real quick, and then this piece here is the perfect one, and I'm going to put it on the top. So I'm just running it through that glue, trying to get some glue on all areas of that so that I can quickly line it up on the other one, and I'll just have 2 layers of thickness. Normally I'll do 3 layers, but I just had the remnant of paper that I cut that frame out with, and I could just get 2 of them on there, so I just did the 2. Just trying to get it to lay flat and not stick to my fingers, because I've got glue all over my fingers now. I'm just going to put my stamp pressing tool on there just to add a little bit of weight, and so that it will stick together. Now I'm going to clean my desk off because I've got little bits of glue all over it. Seems like part of crafting is cleaning. I craft a little, clean a little, craft a little, clean a little. I try to clean up after every project, but you have to keep that desk clean because you get glue on there. You don't want it on the back of your card or just to get it on your fingers and mess up something. So a good part of my time crafting is cleaning. Now you can see that it's incredibly difficult to see the sentiment on the blue and the silver panel. So I've decided I'm going to have to improvise of some sort. I don't have a background shadow die for this, so I'm going to have to come up with a solution. So I'm just kind of looking at it, seeing if, could this work? No, it could not work. So what I decided to do is I had a little piece of white paper laying off to the side, and I am going to glue this down to that white piece of hammer mill paper, and then I'm going to fussy cut around this thing, and that way you'll be able to see my sentiment on top of this card. It really wasn't that difficult to fussy cut. I thought, when I first thought of the idea, I thought, oh, I don't think I want to do this, because I don't like fussy cutting that much. But it really wasn't as hard as I thought it might be. It kind of came together pretty quickly, and I just used my Cricut scissors because they're small and they're fine detail, and you can cut fairly intricate spots with it. So they're kind of my go-to scissors for fussy cutting, and so I just kind of went around there and was turning my paper and cutting away. And I think I'll fast forward on this because I don't think you need to watch me cutting all of this, but there I'm just finishing it up, and it actually worked out pretty well, I think. Just a couple last cuts and we'll have our sentiment ready. And I really think this very fine sentiment die cut very well out of my machine. But it's just one of those things where you've got just really thin pieces you have to be very gentle with and very careful with as you're working with it, because they're just so tiny. Now I've got glue on there, and I keep fussing with trying to get the glue off and just keep working at it. And it cleans up pretty nicely. Just continuing to kind of clean it up. And then I'll just put some glue on the back of this thing, and then I'll get it laid down on my card, and then that'll take care of my card. Now when I started off to do this video, I was only going to do just one card But then when I saw the remnants of the silver paper, I felt like I needed to use it as well. So I'll do a completely different looking card with it, but I think it turned out nice. Now this one I've decided to cut it down. I actually cut it down a little bit more, and I'm just bringing in some patterned paper that I have that's got some red cardinals on it. And I'm just going to use this for my background panel. Just get it laid down nice and neat on there. And I think the black looks really good with the red and the white with the cardinals. And I'm just going to take and glue my black and silver panel down on top of this. And you can see off to the side there I've got a Merry Christmas sentiment in the silver. And I've got a black shadow for it. And then I've also die cut out from my stash, and all these things are from my stash, nothing new. And I'm die cut out a red cardinal and some holly with some berries that I'm going to add to it. So I'm going to get this thing glued up and laid down on its shadow. And then we'll add it to our card panel. Just cleaning it up. I've got a little baby wipe there. I'm just wiping off any extra glue and trying to get that shine back on that silver. Once you've handled it and you've had glue, sometimes it gets a little gunked up. Okay, and there's my little cardinal, and I've cut one of him out in red and one of him out in black, and then I cut the face away so that I could just put the face in black. This is a male cardinal, and his face is black and the rest of his body is red. And then I had hole punched out a little orange. Actually, I'm actually layering up his belly, his underbelly, and his wing just to give some dimension. And I've got a little yellow or orange piece that I'm going to put behind his eye so that some orange will show for his eye. And I'm cleaning that up. And then I'm going to just put my leaves together and lay my holly down on there. And this will just be some embellishment for my card. I've got these little berries. And the berries and the holly, the leaves and the holly came from the Christmas Boutique set. And then the birds came from another set that I have. These are all Spellbinders materials. Just get that laid down. Now that cinnamon there actually is Simon Says stamp. I'll link everything in the description box below so that you can check it out. Get my little cardinal laid down on there. I actually wished I'd had a bigger cardinal to add, but I went through all of my dies, and that was the only one I had that I thought would work. So I went with it. I'm just going to glue it down, and that'll pretty much take care of that card. So we got 2 cards out of this. I was just planning to use this just to have used it. But then when I saw what was left, I thought I have to use that. So I'm bringing in my embellishments from my Make It Merry kit because I thought it'd be fun to add some red embellishments to this. And I think I wind up I'm trying to decide of a pattern as I'm sitting there looking at it, how do I want to do it. And I have decided to stick it in that particular shape there all across the card. And I think I wind up putting 7 of those down. Very often when I'm making a card, I completely forget to put anything like this on there. I don't have a lot of these embellishments, but I do have some, and I typically forget to just add them. It's kind of hard to see with the lighting, this card. Hopefully I'll pick it up and tilt it a little bit so you'll be able to see it. But I'm deciding where else I want to put and how many more I want to put on there so that I'll have an uneven amount so that we keep that. And I've tried to put them in a triangular pattern on there. There we go. So there's my 2 cards, and I hope you like them. I had fun making them. Thanks for watching. Take care. Have a great day. Bye-bye now.